This is such a beautiful Monday morning, and I figured what better to talk about on such a gorgeous day than shame and guilt. So I kind of have this problem where I feel shame a lot, especially late at night. But it's not shame over one particular sin. It's just feeling of you're a bad person, which I hope I'm not alone in that. But that made me think of this sermon that I heard a long time ago about that kind of thing between shame and guilt and the distinction between the two. So basically the way that this sermon explained it was that guilt is feeling bad about a particular sin that you have committed. And that's good. You need that. That's your conscience. But after you have prayed and asked for forgiveness and done whatever's necessary to right the wrong, then your conscience shouldn't be bugging you about it anymore. Because then you may still feel bad, but you don't necessarily feel bad about that particular thing because it's been resolved. And at that point, that's no longer guilt. That's shame. And shame is completely different. Shame is not your conscience because you don't feel bad about a particular sin. You just feel bad about yourself and think that you're a bad person, which you're not. And shame may be the adversary's way of destroying that shalom that you should have with God. Okay. Let me give you an example. Sometimes I'll even think, oh, you've just done so much. There's no way that God could, use you. No! That's not the case. I mean, if you want proof, just look at King David. I'm sorry, but chances are, you haven't done things as bad as King David did. You may have even committed adultery, but did you have the husband murdered? No. But yet David was still called a man after God's own heart. And it's pretty obvious that God loved David. And even now, after thousands of years, he's still revered as one of the greatest men of all time. He's what we think of when we think of what men should be like. So yeah, he had a few rough spots. But the rough spots didn't define him. You are not defined by your sin. Let me repeat that. You are not defined by your sin. That is something that I've had to pound into my noggin for a while. And I'm still trying to pound it in there. But it's true. And that is just something I've really felt I needed to share with you. So, that is a loud dishwasher that's going on in the background. It's powering up for launch. Well, that was a lot more heavy than I meant for it to be. I mean, I kind of deviated from my script I had planned out a little bit. I just kind of turned into that.